We as Ugandans, we should take time and make assessment and analyze the prevailing circumstances before us, before actually clapping for these people that come here to simply explore us and take everything out of our country, simply to leave us in absolute poverty. This money they are taking today is not for Ham. Ham does not own any money. This money is for Ugandans. I'm setting up integrated agro processing plants. I'm going to set up an agro bank. All these things I'm doing, I'm constructing a stadium. All these things I'm doing are no longer things for harm, because my survival is limited within a narrow scope of utilities that I can afford up to death. These things I'm doing are for Ugandans. But when I see Ugandans clap for what has happened, judges having taken such a decision against a Ugandan lawyers having sat firm to prosecute harm for these foreigners, then, and they are, at the end of the day, it is we Ugandans that have lost the battle. But it's unfortunate, because if we apply reason, the world has shifted from physical force to mental reasoning. Look at the banking structure. These people come here, majority of these banks are foreign. They come and trade here within our money. They operate and give us very high interest rates. Interest rates in Europe are going for 0.1%, are going for 1%, are going for 2%. Interest rate here is going for as high as 30%. So they make a lot of money off our hard work and struggle, and at the end of the day, they even repatriate all the profits out of Uganda. It is evident that they've just released their financials, and they made a profit of 874 billion. All that money has left the country. To all my fellow Ugandans, it's so unfortunate what happened in court today. You have all been following my case, in which I took DTB to court for having debited illegally excessive sums of money to a tune of 120 billion from my accounts, but equally having carried out an illegality to make transactions in Uganda contrary to the Financial Institution Act that requires that for anyone to transact in Uganda, they must at least hold a license from Bank of Uganda or the regulator. It was a given fact that they didn't have a license, which qualified it for an illegality committed against the Ugandan laws. Judgment was passed in High Court in my favor, and the bank was asked to give me 120 billion, but equally the fact that they had carried out an illegality. DTB went for appeal, and today judgment has been passed by Court of Appeal, which sits 3 judges, saying that regardless of the illegality committed by these foreign banks, they still took judgment in favor of these foreign banks, which is so unfortunate. Today, the foreign bank may have claimed success, but for us as Ugandans, we are all losers, because money is being taken from a Ugandan, the lawyers on the other side are equally Ugandan, and the deciding judges are Ugandan. But it is so unfortunate that they decided in favor of a foreign bank. We've seen so many Ugandans being prosecuted and imprisoned for far less crimes or illegalities. How could a court of law in Uganda shield an illegality of money laundering and stand with these foreign banks? It's so unfair, but it is a fact. Like I wrote for your book, Success and Failure Based on Reason and Reality, we take the judgment today for what it is, but it's so unfortunate. We're going to appeal, of course, to the Supreme Court, but it goes back to what I've been crying to Ugandans year in, year out. That's why I wrote a book also equally Reason as the Word Masterpiece. We as Ugandans, we should take time and make assessment and analyze the prevailing circumstances before us, before actually clapping for these people that come here to simply explore us and take everything out of our country, simply to leave us in absolute poverty. This money they are taking today is not for Ham. Ham does not own any money. This money is for Ugandans. I'm setting up integrated agro processing plants. I'm going to set up an agro bank. All these things I'm doing, I'm constructing a stadium. All these things I'm doing are no longer things for harm, because my survival is limited within a narrow scope of utilities that I can afford up to death. These things I'm doing are for Ugandans. But when I see Ugandans clap for what has happened, judges having taken such a decision against a Ugandan lawyers having sat firm to prosecute harm for these foreigners, then, and they are, at the end of the day, it is we Ugandans that have lost the battle. But it's unfortunate because if we apply reason, the world has shifted from physical force to mental reasoning. Why can't we apply reason and start reasoning these people out? Like I told you, our former colonial masters, when these people left Europe and the likes of Spain, all those countries, Portugal, France, and they came here, these people, they took everything, including human life. When they took slaves, they took all the resources and they took slaves. But at a given point in time, it was very hard and it became so costly for these people to sustain slavery, physical slavery. They transformed and they said, yes, we've given, because they had resistance not only from the likes of the churches, and remember with the coming of the common laws, and we are calling for human rights, even the Africans themselves had started bringing resistance to these slave traders. So it had become very costly and they had to drop it. So they instead gave Africans virtual, empty shell of independence that looks like independence, but inside it is hollow. So they pretended to have given us independence, but in reality it was simply replaced by mental colonialism or mental slavery. This has gone into our systems, this has gone into our structures, and it is very unfortunate that, evident from today's judgment, it hasn't left our courts of law out. They are equally affected by mental colonialism. When you look at the banking structure, these people come here, majority of these banks are foreign. They come and trade here within our money. They operate and give us very high interest rates. Interest rates in Europe are going for 0.1%, are going for 1%, are going for 2%. Interest rate here is going for as high as 30%. So they make a lot of money off our hard work and struggle, and at the end of the day, they even repatriate all the profits out of Uganda. It is evident that they've just released their financials, and they made a profit of 874 billion. All that money has left the country. But Ugandans are not concerned because they're not taking time to reason out issues on what is taking place. If they've taken money, don't wonder why you're poor. This is because of this taking. It is the reason. You can't look for what is not existent. If the money stays here, maybe in one way or another, you'll be part of it and you'll get it. Maybe I'm an employee, maybe. But if it leaves, then it is not here. And then you're wondering, you are crying to government that we are poor. It is not government that has your money. It is systems, exploitative systems, structures, and policies that have kept us in absolute poverty as a country. So we have to apply reason. Like I told you, reason is the difference and distance between where we are as a country in poverty and where I want to be as a country. That's prosperity. So we have to start applying reason. For the world has changed. It is no longer physical. These people are ruling us because they introduced mental colonialism. We should equally apply the same method. We should start reasoning. How do we tackle these systems and structures? And that is what Ugandans don't understand. When they see harm in court, they say that is Hamis' case. But it is so unfortunate. This isn't a case for harm. But the case, actually, it gives us hope that we are starting to shield some of these illegalities under which these people take our money out. So anyway, we are going to appeal to the Supreme Court, and hopefully we shall come out successful, because, you see, under principles of law, you can't hide an illegality. We've seen it in so many cases. Precedents have been set. That is why we see even today, when these judges were passing judgment, they have failed to articulately put it forward that, you see, they have failed to pronounce themselves on the illegality. They are saying now there was an amendment. Okay, let us go for the trial, but the illegality shouldn't be part of the retrial. You don't give us direction on what we bring to you as judges. We bring to you and you take a decision. But if judges stand in the shoes of these foreign banks and start taking judgments like the banks themselves, then we are in trouble as a country, as a young nation. But anyway, we are not all fools for what they take us to be. Some of us reason. We shall take baby steps. Life and success is built on pillars of struggle, hardships, persistence, and consistency. So, we are not letting this go. Unless I don't know if you will just kill us, but as far as my reasoning capacity is, I don't think this is a win for these people. And it is so unfortunate that it is going to spread like wildfire throughout the entire African continent. 4, we should get judicial and economic independence as a continent. Why should you explore and take? Africa is vast with close to 80% of the world resources. All their survival is dependent on the resources they get from here, including human resource. But you see, they say they're the ones donating to us. Yeah, no, we are the ones donating to them. You know, it is so unfortunate when I talk about human slavery and it was replaced by mental colonialism. There are more Africans today that have been educated in the African system and have gone to Europe to work towards their prosperity. Why? Because this is what they teach in these imposed and imported education systems. They no longer have to take you forcefully on chains. No. Now they just have to reason you out. You all go. Uganda Airlines and our airport is now busy. How many people are going out now as kadamas? That is young blood that has got capacity to work. These are educated young people that can push this country forward if we pointed them in the direction of agro-processing and value addition. But it is so unfortunate, that Ugandans think that I'm no longer fighting for personal success. I'm already a rich man. I'm fighting for prosperity of my motherland, Uganda. And inshallah, Uganda and Africa shall be independent and we shall develop.